I love heel John Cena. Sorry, excuse me, human being John Cena. See, he was right. We've all been horrible people and more for less. Also, hello, my friends. What ups and downs? The only wrestling review show you need. And of course, we've just had the latest episode of Monday Night Raw. And I'm excited to talk about it. And I'm also excited to see all of you this week. If you are coming to the WhatCulture live shows, all the information is in that box down there. And we're essentially following WWE around. So you can come and say hello to us. And then you can go to the shows and probably see heel John Cena. I just did it again. I'm such a baldy. Oh, I just wanted to be an arrogant a-hole as well. I forgot to tell you, but as a quick update, somebody, that would be me, just defended their Progress People's Praise Championship for a sixth time, making them 6-0. That's right, I'm on a streak. Thank you to my father Goldberg. WWE wasn't messing around either, because Raw did kick off, and John Cena's original theme music did hit, and this Brussels crowd just lost their minds. I mean, you've never heard anything like it. I mean, maybe at that ECW pay-per-view years ago, but that's as close as we've ever got. It really was like Cena had murdered the Easter Bunny, and yes, he was in the same clothes, he had the same entrance music, but actually this was super duper smart, because if he had changed his aesthetic, we would have been like, yeah, John, you're finally doing all that too. But believe you me, he really wants to piss us off. Cena didn't run to the ring either, which I found very disconcerting in a man who's been watching wrestling for a long old time. And listen, his clothes colours were red and yellow. Maybe it meant something, maybe it didn't. The Let's Go Cena Sucks chants then started. This is when Johnny Boy dropped the microphone and pretended he was going to leave. Can you imagine if he had done that and he hadn't have said a word? I think I would have had a conniption. He continued to do this as the fans started to chant "You sold out" when he did drop his Instagram quote, which was something like, when a man is grounded, he won't seek approval from other people. I mean, he said it way more poetically than that, but it was kind of true, and really that quote sums up heel John Cena. Human John Cena. Also, with that said, please do like me because I need good feelings. When John was like, listen, all you guys are proving my point right now, because for 25 years, I have been part of an abusive relationship. And then what did this Brussels crowd do? They all booed him and told him to flub off. So it's been a standard case of bullying in the sense that the fans felt like they could treat Cena however he wanted, and he just had to be the puppet and smile there, even though sometimes what they were doing were hurting his feelings. There you go, my friends. Sometimes you don't need to go off just because you didn't like a wrestling angle. You need to think about the people. He then lit the internet on fire because he actually said, this is what I keep joking about, I'm not a babyface and I'm not a heel, I am a human. Listen, I understand. This means we're entering very strange territory, but you should say things like this for somebody like John Cena. And as long as wrestling doesn't go back to WCW, where commentators actually go, oh, it's not real, all the fights are a work, I'm good with it. I mean, if nothing else, it is super duper intriguing and interesting. As a human being, though, he has been treated awfully, because look through the years, all these times he tried to change himself, and what happened? Well, it was the same old shib. Boom. He still worked hard though, and from all of that he won and he won and he won and he won. And for about a decade, he still got told that he absolutely sucked. And yes, I get it, I saw some of the criticisms, and it does make sense. This would have worked better if he had done it 10 or so years ago, but come on, man. We were never going to get John Cena being the bad guy. Sometimes beggars can't be choosers. And honestly, if doing a speech is all about delivery, well, John Cena gets an A-star. He also tied this into his retirement. It was all like, yeah, same old story. Listen, I get, once again, he has mostly been being booed, but he is meant to be a villain here, which means now he has carte blanche to say things, and you go, well, that's not true, John. That's the entire point. Cena then went full on with the whole "it's the fans' fault" promo, which really made me chuckle, especially because not one of us ever asked how he felt. So now we are just getting what we did earn, nothing. Mum? He then actually said that's the reason you don't get a brand new John Cena theme song, you don't get brand John Cena clothes, because I don't wear this for you, I wear this for me. And the fact that you would even expect this, will go back to what I just said. He then carried on by saying that our time is up, because his time is now, and it actually felt like I had died. Cody Rhodes chants then started, and John Cena was like, oh, well, here we go once again. You want your shiny brand new toy. But as I have addressed the Cena sucks people, let's talk about the Let's Go Cena people too. You're also awful when we cut to this poor kid in the crowd who looked like he had just seen the Easter Bunny been murdered. Because once again, John now feels like these people have been stealing off him, because they're also the same individuals that make that stupid "you can't see me" joke, which has been going on for 15 years. And it wasn't funny then, and it's not funny now. I was a bit like, John, on occasion it can be quite funny. Apparently this lot also used Cena's catchphrases to excuse themselves from being pathetic losers. I mean, what do? They just sat on their ass for 25 years watching John Cena. That's a little bit like good grief. It then peaked again because he said, listen, we're all in a toxic relationship and I am breaking up with you. I was like, what? I didn't do anything. To be honest, John Cena, I've been quite positive this whole time. I guess I better tell people though, so just 1 second. Yeah, hi Dad, I just needed to explain that John Cena has broken up with you. What do you mean, who's John Cena? He also then spat the line, I know I'm right because you're most definitely wrong. That's when Cody Rhodes' music hit, and we also saw how well this was working because this crowd went nuts. Instantly, Cody went super good guy too, because he was like, you don't get it, you absolute buffoon. Sure, the fans did give you their worst, but they also gave you their best, because they knew you could take it, John. You could carry the weight on your shoulders. Cena then tried to call Cody kid, but he cut him off and said, no, you call me WWE champion. Also, what is this jabron standing in front of me? I don't want to take on a whiny bitch at WrestleMania, so you better find the other guy and send him to the show. Cody also promised that if he doesn't do this, he will send him off into retirement early, when both of them left to no music. I don't know who came up with that one, but you get a massive round of applause. Somehow it made it feel even more deep. I think all in all this went 28 minutes, but it did not feel like it because it zoomed on by. And yes, I know, John Cena didn't talk about The Rock and John Cena didn't talk about his 17th World Championship reign, but we have like 5 weeks till WrestleMania. We got loads of time to do this. Excuse my language, but you don't need to shoot your entire load. WWE also found great balance here, because not only was John Cena hated, at least in Brussels, but now Cody Rhodes seems to be more over than ever. And that's the plan, man. That's what we're trying to achieve here. We need to turn Cody into John Cena, but one that only gets cheered. Otherwise, in 20 years, he may go through this too. So as far as I'm concerned, it's not just an up, it's a golden up, because I was so damn excited and I was buzzing afterwards. I shouldn't say this. It does make me a bad person. But I saw some people go, man, I didn't like it. I'm like, honestly, what do you want? It's like if WWE reached out the screen, they dragged you into Raw and said, you're now the champion, you'd be like, well, I don't think I've been pushed right. Sometimes things aren't enough, but for me, well, I'll say it again, golden up. It was right from that into a no-holds-barred match too. It was Penta versus Ludwig Kaiser. Penta wrecked this dude as well until Ludwig poked him in the eye and basically chucked him into the announce table. That did not look fun at all. When essentially Ludwig decided, I'm going to run around the outside, and Penta went, no, you're not, and he gave him a back body drop into a table. Why not? Kaiser then went and got a chair, so Penta was like, well, I'm going to snap your arm then. When he super kicked this steel essentially into Ludwig's face a couple of times, I was like, that looked nasty, man. I bet Bowser's going to be annoyed. He then basically hit the Canadian Destroyer and got the Penta driver, and he got the 1, 2, 3. Now, I've zoomed through this match a little bit too quickly, but it was really good. Let me take the first segment, you take this one. Well, Raw was a super duper easy one. The fans were so loud for this as well, and Penta cut a promo afterwards, and basically said, oh, hi, do you know what I want to do? I want to win the Intercontinental Championship. So when we get to WrestleMania, if that's not a multi-man match, well, you can call me Steve. It makes sense too, because there's so many people to get on that WrestleMania card, and I am going to give this an up. As a slight detour, Corey Graves was back on commentary duties for this episode of Raw, and I don't know what happened, I don't know the truth or the lies, but I just wanted to say he is really good at his job. I appreciate him greatly. We then saw a backstage segment from earlier where the Creeds and Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee had fallen out. They were basically arguing who was that masked man from last week. The good guys think it's Chad Gable, and I'm pretty sure the bad guys know it's Chad Gable too. Apart from Brutus, he was genuinely stunned. It also seemed like the Judgment Day were going to be friends again, when in around about 8 seconds, Dominic Mysterio and Finn Balor fell out. Damn it. Now this was mostly because the condom suggested, man, maybe Penta could join the Judgment Day. Finn was like, Penta? Penta? I am facing Bron Breakker for the Intercontinental title later, and Penta just said that he wanted an IC title too. Why don't you just go find my ex-girlfriend? And he walked off. Finn even called him a snake, and Dominic was like, I didn't know Penta had done that, but I bet he did do. So yeah, give it to WrestleMania, and they most definitely will break up. Well, we just had a really strange match. It was Dakota Kai versus Ivy Nile, which was essentially, hey, we tried to win the Women's Intercontinental Championship, but we failed. Fine. It was mostly nonsense, as the mysterious masked man did turn up to stand next to the Creeds. When, of course, Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee were here too, they were not down for this. And then the chaos broke loose when Dakota was like, all right, well, I'm just going to kick Ivy in the face. And yeah, she pinned her for the 1, 2, 3 in about 2 minutes. Maybe John Cena went a bit long. So I don't know really. I mean, I do find the Chad Gable stuff very amusing because he's just so damn good. And in terms of the work we did get here, even in a very short transition, well, I'll give it an up. Just the speed of the whole thing somehow had a knock-on effect when that Women's Intercontinental Championship just doesn't feel as important as it should do. Now, I'm quite pumped for Lyra Valkyria taking on Raquel Rodriguez, because that could be a different kind of match. But I also think WWE could do more, especially in WrestleMania season. Tis a down. I also have no idea what the connection between Dakota and Damage Control is anymore, although, speaking of those guys, out came Io Sky, out came Bianca Belair, and out came Adam Pearce. It's time for a contract signing. Now, Sky yelled at everyone to begin with, because damn it, she's going to get respect because she is the WWE champion. When Bianca was like, listen, I do respect you, you're one of the best. But it's like what I said to Rhea Ripley last week, if you put your hands on me, I'm going to whip your ass. They then both signed the deal, and Adam Pearce was over the moon. He was like, oh my God, I was so professional, now I can sleep soundly in my bed tonight. When Rhea Ripley's music hit and this place went wild. Now, she made a joke at first, she was like, oh, I'm just here to watch, which was a shot at Bianca Belair, because that's what she had done a couple of weeks ago, when essentially, she headbutted Bianca Belair, she whipped Io Sky's ass, when she grabbed Io Sky, and she powerbombed her through a table, and yes, Bianca Belair was lying on that table, so it was a death blow. I then laughed so much. This is why I love pro wrestling, because Rhea Ripley got that contract, and she signed her name as if to say, well, I put my digits now on it too, so I have to be in the WrestleMania match. Pearce then had a meltdown and told Ripley to give that back to him like a child that had stolen his wallet. But Rhea was like, no, this is legally binding. You can't talk shit to me. Imagine that was true in real life. You're about to sign for a house, and someone else runs in and goes, ha ha, I've done it first. And you have to go home going, well, now great, I've got to live on the street. This part happened later too, and Adam Pearce kept saying, you're such a child, this doesn't count. So of course, I wouldn't buy too much into this. There will be a shifteroo when Bianca Belair and Io Sky were back, and all these three start to have another big fight. That's probably the real reason it will become a triple threat, because Pearce will be like, well, how can I not? You've caused a situation. So I am such a fan of this, and for everyone goes, but it's nonsense, Simon. I never said it wasn't nonsense. I'm saying I love this kind of nonsense in pro wrestling. It's like the Royal Rumble. You can be eliminated from the Royal Rumble, and then get back in and eliminate somebody else, and for some reason that is totally fine. But as long as WWE keeps this rule going forward, meaning when you are having a contract signing, you have to be really careful, because I suppose it means I could turn up and compete for the Women's Championship. And trust me, nobody wants that. So it's just wonderfully stupid. And listen, I do want the three-way here. This is a multi-person match I'm totally behind. And again, it made me chuckle and it made me feel good. I am giving it an up. I say more of this. So of course the latter half of that happened later in the show, so let's just go back in time, because we also saw Jey Uso cutting a promo. He was like, man, I've been a little bit distracted, but it's time to get back to basics. Before that, Gunther stormed in and called him an idiot, because he's also been talking to Jimmy Uso on SmackDown, and they're both idiots, so they can be the idiot brigade. And Jey Uso walked to the ring. He was taking on Austin Theory, and my gosh, we got this right. He beat him in 32 seconds. He basically hit with a spear instantly to get the 1, 2, 3, and Michael Cole called that a crossbody, which was interesting. And then, yes, Jey Uso went to do a dive onto Grayson Waller on Austin Theory, because they had both tried to beat him up, and he slipped on the top rope. I'm sorry, have you never made a mistake in your human life? Now you actually have people on social media going, yeah, I told you he shouldn't main event WrestleMania, because he made one error on a move that 99.9% of the time he has done perfectly. Listen, this is the second time I'm going to be horrible at this video. I apologize, but if you are saying that, you are stupid. Gunther eventually appeared from nowhere and he tried to put Jey Uso to sleep again, but this time Jey had learned, he had got his 8 hours, and he got rid of Gunther, which means at the end of this segment, Jey Uso, our #1 contender, was standing tall. Fair play to Austin Theory as well, who totally understood the assignment. And now next week, it is going to be Grayson Waller and Austin Theory versus Jey Uso and a mystery partner. Now look, WWE may sort of do a shifteroo here and make me look a bit dumb, but everyone was like, well, who could it possibly be? I was like, well, it will be Jimmy Uso, his brother, who he most definitely still gets on with. But that'll be fun either way, and again, as long as he keeps winning, that's all that matters. I am giving it an up, because again, he did a squash match, man. I like it. Just after that as well, it was Dragon Lee and Rey Mysterio taking on the Creeds, and honestly, Brutus and Julius were really mad. For a good while, they ran through him. Rey eventually got so mad at their interference, he just slapped them around the face, which when Dragon Lee went nuts, he ran at Brutus and gave him a Hurricane Rana over the rope and to the floor, That could have gone really bad. Thank goodness he's a dragon. It sort of left the Creeds confused, and they were tangling on the top rope, so Rey Mysterio moved Julius into the 619 position. When he got that, and he hit the splash, that was that. Nice and simple. Uno, dos, tres. This was only 5 minutes as well, and of course then the masked man, who may or may not be Chad Gable, ran to the ring to cause some chaos when the useless wrestling security ran him away, because as far as they're concerned, he's just a fan. So this is basically building to a 6-man tag, although who would be the third guy? I mean, could it be the debut of Phoenix and he teams up with Rey Mysterio to tell the audience you need to care about this man? But that could also happen on Raw, so why doesn't he team with Penta, his actual brother? And look, I said this on SmackDown Ups and Downs, there's no rush to do that, there's loads of wrestling, so maybe the longer you hold off the better. It was an up though, although really this match was kind of just there and you'll never talk about it again. It wouldn't surprise me if WWE had gone, the John Cena thing is going to take over everything. So as for the rest of the show, well, let's just do some okay stuff. When WWE also remembered we should build to our other potential main event, so who came to the ring? Seth Rollins. And the fans sang his song longer than I've been alive, and when Seth finally spoke, he was like, man, I was gonna be all mad, but now you've made me feel warm and fuzzy in my tum-tum. He didn't feel like he would make it upset again as the fans chanted for CM Punk and Roman Reigns, but that is who he wants to talk about, because as always, Roman thinks he knows what he's doing, even though all the plans he gets from the wise man are totally baloney. Because yes, last week, CM Punk was the luckiest loser alive, because just as he was about to end his life essentially, and ensure he could never main event WrestleMania, what did Roman do? He pulled him out the cage, so now CM Punk is still walking around. So if the tribal chief hadn't have done that, Seth Rollins would have solved this CM Punk problem for everyone. Look, he does understand Roman motivations here. He wanted to get revenge and Rollins would have done that too, but he's still an idiot, which goes all the way back to their Shield days. So Seth Rollins will have to clean his mess up. As Paul Heyman had revealed that CM Punk and Roman Reigns are going to be in Italy on SmackDown though, Seth Rollins was basically a big advertising board here because he was like, you know what? I'll go too. So transfer window be damned, but look, there's nothing wrong with this kind of synergy before WrestleMania. Some parts of Raw should be telling you to watch SmackDown, because then you're going to get a bigger audience. Also, that segment should be massive. We're going to make the match official. But much like the rest of Raw after John Cena and Cody Rhodes, this was just fine. It was just okay. People were very happy to see Seth Rollins, so up. But once more, we shall never talk about it again. AJ Styles then did a backstage promo when Karrion Kross interrupted him. Karrion was like, hey, AJ, do you remember when it took you 17 years to get to WWE? Well, I did the maths, and Logan Paul did it a lot faster. As usual, Karrion had styled his hair like his opponent too, so he looked like AJ Styles here, which is his kryptonite. And rightfully so, Styles was like, listen, don't compare our journeys. And Karrion's like, well, I'm going to compare the journey. And AJ Styles was like, well, I'm not going to listen to you. And Karrion Kross was like, well, you will listen to me. And AJ Styles was like, man, this isn't working. And he walked off. And then Karrion Kross and Scarlett went, I think it's working. I really enjoy the new variation, new variety of these two. And I hope WWE leans into it more. They are very entertaining. Bron Breakker and Penta then cross paths, because of course that is going to tie into the IC title when we had an Intercontinental Championship match. Finn Balor versus Bron Breakker. And even though he is Finn and he wants to win, well, that was never going to happen. Now, Balor was able to stop Bron's super spear on the outside with his sling blade. When he got back in the ring, he did a side Russian leg sweep, and damn it, I want more of those. Breakker must have taken some sort of potion, though, to increase his defense, because all of a sudden he was no-selling everything. I suppose the plan was Dominic and Carly are in the back, and they were like, man, Balor's getting his ass kicked. Now we've got to go out there. And that worked because they did cast distraction and Finn was able to hit the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, the surprise roll-up, but he only got the 1-2-0. Instead, Breakker went back to the outside where he dove off the apron, but Finn came back with a drop kick. When he went for the coup de grace, and he missed, honestly, he has a terrible first-rate success ratio. It was then basically a comedy, because Bron Breakker was going to superplex Finn Balor when Dominic Mysterio did get involved, and Breakker fell to the floor, but because there was momentum or vibrations, Finn Balor fell down, and he whacked his penis on the ropes. Now listen, he's already fallen out with the condom. I don't think this is going to help. It was the beginning of the end as well, because Bron Breakker then got rid of the Judgment Day. He hit the Frankensteiner and this massive spear. Sorry to say, Finn Balor, but you just lost. And the best part of all of this was that Carlito and Dominic did attack afterwards, but it also meant that Dom and the IC title had a moment as he looked into it. And I tell you, we should do that. I mean it, I'm not joking. Penta then ran out because I guess he wants a fair fight, which makes no sense, but he was able to help. If I was Bron Breakker, I'd be so pissed. Penta got the Intercontinental Championship and he held it above his head before passing it to Bron. That's like taking a bite out of somebody's pizza and then handing it over. It's like, don't you sully my stuff. Penta then did his taunt as Breaker also held up the championship to end the show. So yes, you can see where this is going, or at the very least we'll get that singles match, although I think it's going to be a multi-man. But I'm going to say my catchphrase for this Raw was totally fine. Up. The fans absolutely took it to that next level though, and that first segment will live long in the memory for a long old time, whereas the rest of it not so much. But did I enjoy myself? Yes. That's the whole point of sports entertainment. The clue is in the name. Up. Now, of course, please do drop me a comment below and let me know what you thought about last night's episode of Raw. Like the video, share the video, and subscribe. See what I thought about SmackDown ups and downs by clicking that video on the screen. But otherwise, know that I love you, my friends. Buy yourself a Boydie t-shirt, should you so wish. I'll see you soon.